Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking about vibrato. Vibrato is an Italian term which means to vibrate, and it is a term that is used to refer to the practice of modulating the pitch very slightly and subtly of a note so as to create a more interesting effect, and more potentially pleasantly depending on your tastes. I believe it was started predominantly by singers with their inability to stay on pitch, but it is something that has subsequently gone through to a lot of instruments. Now, when it comes to string instruments and things, you will often see violinists or other unemployed people having their hand on the string board, fretboard, whatever it's called, and wiggling their hand vigorously from side to side, and that is a feature, a technique that they use to induce vibrato. With brass instruments we've got a number of other techniques. I've got a trombone in my hand, and the trombone, because of its use, because of its position of a slide, has you'll often see a trombone player wiggling their slide a little bit to induce a vibrato effect. How much you choose to wiggle your slide is again entirely up to the player, but there are another couple of other ways that we can induce vibratos in brass instruments. In my hand here I have a trumpet. One of the things you'll see with a lot of trumpet players and those who play small instruments is that they will subtly shake the instrument so as to create differences in pressure on the mouth, which again will induce a vibrato sort of effect. And the last way, and perhaps the most common way, is to adjust the pitch using your lips. We can deviate from the actual note that you're playing, the frequency that you're playing, by adjusting how our lips are positioned. So if we were to try a vibrato and slow it down, we might have something like this. You'll hear that I'm hitting a pitch and then I'm pushing the note flat, pushing it flat, and then letting it return back to pitch, then flat, and then pitch, and so forth. And that's what creates the vibrato, that sort of undulating sound to the notes. Now the thing with vibrato is that it's up to every individual person to find out what works best for them and what indeed works the best for the music that they're playing. Personally, I find whenever I'm playing in a band or when I'm playing with other people doing the same thing, it's really not appropriate to use a vibrato, because if you're all doing vibratos, that instead of trying to hit a note bang on pitch, you've got people, a section of people potentially wavering around all over the place, and it's just going to sound a bit rancid. Whereas if you're playing a solo or you're playing a solo part or a solo section, then a bit of subtle vibration I think is quite a nice effect. Vibrato is measured by two main terms. You've got the rate, which is the speed of your undulations, and you've also got the extent, which is the amount of that you vary the pitch bending for whenever you employ one of these vibratos. And there are no hard and fast rules about when you should do what, how often you should do it, the extent that you should do it, etc, etc. So we could start off just doing some demonstrations. We could do a very slow vibrato. We could have a very fast vibrato. You could have a vibrato that's very subtle. Or you could have a vibrato that is a little bit exaggerated. All of those sort of variances and the infinite amount of variables in between that are how you express yourselves. So to conclude this video, really, vibrato, it's a useful technique. It's something that I think most musicians should have under their belt, in their toolkit, whatever phrase you wish to use, but it's something that I believe is best used sparingly. Save it for solo work, save it for the slower pieces, and I think it is something that can really add another dimension to your playing. Thanks for watching.